With this video, we will be doing every accusation from Kendrick Lamar and Drake. And if you want to help this channel and the content that we making, please help support our merchandise. The link is in the description. If you didn't hit the like button, make sure you hit the like button. Try and get the channel to grow. And the only way we're going to do this if you like, share, and comment on the content. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Let's go. Chi, get the yayo.
Get the yayo.
After an exciting week of diss track after diss track, the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef got pretty confusing, with accusations, allegations, and misinformation everywhere. It got pretty hard to follow. So today we're gonna look into exactly what happened between Kendrick and Drake this past month, and try our best to understand the current situation. But first, we gotta understand the backstory. As many of you are probably aware, it all started when Kendrick dissed Drake on Like That along with Future and Metro Boomin. Kind of. The beef actually has been going on for a very long time, ever since Kendrick called out Drake on Control. It's been brewing over the years with subliminals from both parties and finally boiled over this year. I explained it all in detail in this video on screen, so if you want to check that out for the backstory, feel free. Regardless, the main event started after Kendrick directly called out Drake on Like That. He said things like, "Mother F the big three, it's just big me. I'm really like that, and your best work is a light pack. Prince outlived Mike Jack, and it's a lot of goofies with a check. I hope them send them symbolic." Again, I covered this.
That was a crazy bar, and that's a crazy line. It's a lot of goofies with a check. That bar landed.
Yeah, he did. He was on fire.
Yeah, definitely.
It was like NBA Jam.
Yeah. That's I still be bumping that song.
On the video I showed, which I will link down below. Kendrick didn't say anything crazy about Drake, but he did directly call him out. J. Cole definitely caught a few disses, but most of it was aimed at Drake. But then things went quiet until 22 days later when Drake finally responded. On April 13th, Drake's response push-ups leaked and wouldn't be officially released until 6 days later. Of course, Drake sent shots at many of the other people dissing him, but most of the lines were targeted at Kendrick. Again, little shameless plug if you're wondering why everyone else hates Drake, video in the description as well. Aside from repeatedly calling Kendrick short, Drake made one major accusation on this track. He said, "Extortion baby, whole career you've been shook up, cause Top told you drop and give me 50 like some push-ups." He repeated this sentiment throughout the entire track, and this is what it means. Top Dog, or Anthony Tiffith, is the owner of Top Dog Entertainment, the label that Kendrick had signed to in the mid-2000s. Tiffith is the owner of Top Dog Entertainment, the label that Kendrick had signed to in the mid-2000s. The reason Drake said Top told you drop and give me 50 is because he was accusing him of splitting his profit with TDE 50-50, which isn't ideal. He was also referring to this video of Kendrick doing push-ups. But the reason that he said Kendrick was an extortion baby is because of a story Kendrick told on the song Duckworth. Essentially, the entire song was about how Top Dog was gonna rob a KFC where Kendrick's dad, whose nickname was Ducky, worked at. In the song, Ducky knew what was about to happen and wanted to get on Top's good side, so he gave them free food and extra food every time they came through the KFC. Years later, Top signed Kendrick to his label, and Kendrick's dad and Top were cool because of this incident. But Drake is saying that Kendrick is being extorted, which means that Top is threatening Kendrick into giving him a 50-50 split. So this was the main accusation that Drake was making on this song. But he also said, "This ain't even everything I know, don't wake the demon up." So this song essentially served as a warning shot. The same day that he officially released Push-Ups, Drake released a second diss on his Instagram called Tailor Made for
exactly what it was like, bah! I mean, yo streets, I know what's happening.
That is a tough line. This ain't all I know, please don't wake the demon up.
Yeah.
And that's like Kendrick said, this rabbit hole goes a lot deeper.
But the way that he illustrated Duckworth, I mean, he explained everything himself.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was a dope track, man.
Yeah.
That was, even that song alone, that was like one of those songs that you should look at if you was stepping into a battle with Kendrick and be like, man, he had changed the beat like 3 times. Yeah. It was just one of them unforgettable tracks on one of them unforgettable albums that's time stamped and still it is recharting.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, it's crazy.
Freestyle. The song had verses from an AI Tupac and an AI Snoop Dogg to poke fun at Kendrick for being a West Coast rapper who cites the two as big influences. The use of AI actually made a lot of people upset, especially since he used Tupac AI, which many people thought was disrespectful. Regardless, Drake said a handful of things on this song.
Me personally, I think it was disrespectful. I thought it was like kind of creative, like something that's never been done before. I didn't see no disrespect in it.
I was the total opposite.
Was you?
Yeah, I really was. I was like, man, he's really crossed some lines here. That was my initial thought. He's crossed some lines here.
Yeah.
I wonder how this is going to go over.
Yeah.
Because I did respect the creative part of it. I thought it was interesting, but I was just like, man, I know he ain't go through.
I mean, I heard 3 AI Tupac songs before that even came out. Not from Drake, but just on the internet, other Tupac AI songs. So it wasn't really.
Yeah,
it wasn't like it was the first one I heard.
I think it's a thin gray line of exploration with that, because you got these artists who are dropping these mean catalogs and you know what I'm saying, it's clogging it. You almost gotta like look through and be like, is this a real track by said artist?
I think like more and more as we go into the future, the more and more you're gonna see stuff like that. Like it was just like the first, so it was like a big, but it's gonna become the norm soon.
With one of the main ones being, "What's taking so long, we waiting on you? As soon as you get the courage to drop, I'm out on the loose." He said this throughout the whole track because it took Kendrick some time to respond. Although to be fair, Drake also took 22 days, and I think people seem to forget that. Regardless, one of the most important things, in my opinion, that Drake said on this song, from the perspective of an AI Tupac, was, talk about him liking young girls. That's a gift for me. Heard it on the Button podcast. It's gotta be true. Drake basically pulled a B-rap.
I heard it on the Button podcast. It gotta be true, and that was like one of those like moments. I reference it to this moment actually right here, when you try to tell people what they're gonna say about you before they say it, like what Eminem did right here when he was like, I already know everything you're gonna say about me. Yes, I'm from the trailer parks, and let me walk my ass home with like that part. So that's what it felt like when he did that to me.
Yeah, and I totally understand that.
Rabbit in 8 Mile and said, "This is what you're gonna say about me, haha, I win." But this is important to keep in mind going forward, especially for when Kendrick responded. Also, if it wasn't obvious already, I'm mostly highlighting the accusations that were made in these tracks. I'm not gonna break down every single lyric. So if that's what you guys want to see, I gotta keep putting you guys on to What's the Dirt, because he's been killing it with the breakdowns, and I'm sure he's got more to come. I'm basically just trying to sum up the current situation. Anyways, 11 days after Drake's tailor-made freestyle, Kendrick finally responded with the song Euphoria. And on this song, he made a lot of accusations that would become the center of this beef.
I calculate you, not as calculated. I can even predict your angle. Fabricating stories on the family front, cause you heard Mr. Morale. A pathetic master manipulator. I can smell the tails on you now.
I think this has gone unnoticed, but Kendrick basically did the same thing Drake did in a sense, by saying that he knew what Drake was going to bring up about him. But this was another accusation that would be a centerpiece in this beef. The first major accusation that Kendrick made on this song was that Drake tries too hard to be someone he isn't.
There's no accent you can sell me. We hate the bitches you fuck, cause they
ain't no accent you can sell me.
Women. Then notice I said we, it's not just me, I'm what the culture's feeling. How many more fairy tale stories about your life till we had enough? How many more black features till you finally feel that you're black enough? I like Drake with the melodies, I don't like Drake when he acts up.
Kendrick is saying in these lines and in many others that Drake is insecure about being biracial and often tries to put on a front. Many people have brought up Drake's suburban upbringing and have called him a cult.
And that's funny because I was with my homegirl the other day. This is how impactful these songs are. I was with my homegirl the other day. We in the car driving, and some song with Drake singing on it. She said, I like Drake with the melodies. I don't like Drake when he acting tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how impactful that's how impactful these songs are.
Culture vulture, and this is what Kendrick is accusing him of as well. Drake claims to have grown up poor, but also said that he moved to Forest Hills when he was in 6th grade. And Forest Hills is a fairly wealthy and safe neighborhood. He also started acting at 14 years old and was making pretty good money for being a 14-year-old. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when you act like you came from the gutter, it is kind of
These
lines
from
can
the
also
bottom.
play into the idea that a lot of OG rappers don't think that Drake is a real rapper.
Because we're here for truth. We're here for
Drake
truth.
Drake is pop to me.
Right, that's fair. In the sense that it's charting like pop music, popular music.
In the sense, like, if I was in Target in Houston and I heard a Drake song, so it feels like a lot of his music is compatible with shopping.
Commercial music.
Yeah,
or it's, shopping with an edge.
I mean, I think
shopping
it's
with
pretty
the
clear Kendrick is getting at.
You know that we got some shit to address. I even hate when you say the word nigga. But that's just me, I guess. Some shit just cringeworthy. Ain't even gotta be deep, I guess.
Another accusation Kendrick brought up was with the line, let your core audience stomach that, then tell them where you get your abs from. This one isn't that serious, but it's kind of a jab that would be brought up a lot more in this beef. And the other big accusation that Kendrick made on this song was that Drake tried to send out a cease and desist on Like That.
But you don't like that record?
Earlier that started the whole beef.
Try cease and desist on a like that record. Oh, what, you ain't like that record?
Shortly after Euphoria came out, screenshots of an email that appeared to show someone from Republic Records asking someone from Epic not to release Like That on the radio leaked. A few days later, Metro Boomin posted a similar screenshot on his Twitter with the names blurred out. It's definitely possible that Metro or whoever leaked it is lying, but if we look at the original screenshot, we can see names like Corey Williams, who is the VP of Business and Legal Affairs at Republic Records.
Man, I like that record was hitting. They want that on radio.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Because once I got on radio, it's going to be hard to get off radio because that song, I still hear it to today on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
The email was also sent to a lady named Becca Connolly, who works at Epic and A&R Label Relations. And guess who Future and Metro are both signed to? Epic Records. And if you're not getting it yet, Drake is signed to Republic. Of course, someone still could have faked it, but it honestly seems legit. I mean, they would have to at least...
Oh, they said Drake was signed to Republic? Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But EXO, I mean, not remember this is the Weeknd video,
Weeknd,
and he signed to Republic. So now it makes sense why he would be mad. Like, you gonna go to the same...
To the same people I'm getting paid from?
be in the know to get those names right. Obviously, this doesn't mean that Drake was the one who asked for it to be taken down, but it is interesting seeing the label's involvement in this beef. Speaking of, there was also another rumor that Drake's label was trying to get Kendrick and The Weeknd to stop beefing with Drake because it was making him look bad, but that rumor was false, so I just want to put that to rest right here. Kendrick did allude to a few other things on this song that would be brought up more throughout the beef, but this was mostly it. Just like Push-Ups, it was more of a warning shot. 3 days later though, Kendrick Lamar released the song 616 in LA on his Instagram. One of the major accusations that Kendrick made on this song was that OVO was working for him. So most of the Kendrick disses aren't copyrighted, but this one is apparently, so I had to mute it. But I'm assuming you guys can read, so I'm just gonna show you guys the lyrics. I hope you guys can read.
I hate bullies, you're a terrible person.
And one really cool thing about this track was the cover, which we had no idea what it meant at first, and I'm not going to tell you yet if you don't know, but I'll give you a hint. It is related to the line that I just played. Regardless, without breaking down every lyric and looking into the double entendres, this was Kendrick's main message with this track.
All that.
Yeah, all that.
Suppose you, if you was extremely smart. Oh, that's when you talking about they was distorting 100 acres in your salary, 20 of them want your coverage, and one of them actually.
Again, though, most of these were allusions to what would come in future tracks. And then things got very serious very quickly.
It's like the guy next to you, the guy that's right beside you right now. He's giving me information, which is crazy.
Yeah, you need to be more careful about who you trust and that's so close to you.
Yeah, definitely. Round
This
2.
is where things get really tricky and very hard to follow, so I'm going to do my best to make it as simple as possible. The same night, on May 3rd, Drake released Bury Your
Family
Life
Matters, and that's from the way the show started,
which was kind of a teaser diss for what was to
Wow.
come and not really worth mentioning. But right after that, he released the track Family Matters. One of the first important lines is when he said, "You better have some paperwork or that fake tea." For the sake of simplicity, we can assume this is about the cease and desist. So Drake is basically denying that he did that. But they do seem to have some paperwork unless the email was fake. And if you're in the loop, don't worry, we'll come back to this line later. On this track, Drake accused Kendrick of a few pretty serious things. The first thing Drake accused him of was, always rapping like you're trying to get the slaves freed, you're just acting like an activist, it's make-believe. This is something that's been brought up in disses at Kendrick over the years, especially because of how much black empowerment is a big theme in his music, especially in albums like To Pimp a Butterfly. But a lot of fans were upset with how Drake went about this line. He followed up with, "Don't even go back to your hood and plant no money trees," which actually isn't true, as he is known to give back to the community quite often. Later in the track, Drake said, "A cease and desist is for hoes, can't listen to lies that come out of your mouth. You called the Tupac estate and begged him to sue me and get that shit down." So again, he denies the cease and desist accusation, then says Kendrick tried to get tailor-made freestyle taken down, which again, we don't have much proof for. The second thing Drake accused him of was that one of Kendrick's kids was actually his manager, Dave Free's kid. He said, "Your baby mama captions always screaming, 'Save me.' You did her dirty all your life, you trying to make peace." Drake alludes to a few things here, with one of them being the fact that Kendrick supposedly cheated on his fiancée Whitney. Many people believe on his song Mother I Sober, Kendrick admitted to cheating on her, which is likely based on the line, "Intoxicated, there's a lustful nature that I'm failed to mention. Insecurities that I project, sleeping with other women. Whitney's hurt, the purest soul I know, I found her in the kitchen." Then he obviously said that one of Kendrick's kids is actually Dave Freeze. Like I said, Dave Free is Kendrick's manager. And many pointed out that Kendrick's fiance doesn't follow him, but she does follow Dave. Although, to be fair, they never followed each other on Instagram to begin with. There isn't really much more proof for this, so it might be a while before we...
Like, we talking, I'm like that too. We like in a relationship. Why are we following each other? I'm with you every day. Like, I don't need to see everything that you post. I'd rather not, me personally. That's how I've always been.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. This is a lot of extraness comes with all that.
Yeah, facts.
We know whether or not it's true, but the third thing Drake alluded to in that line was the third major accusation that he made on this track. Drake said, when you put your hands on your girl, is it self-defense because she's bigger than you? He also said, proposed in 2015, but don't want to make her your actual wife. Then he ended the track by saying,
that was a low blow. You know what I'm saying? When they said that, like, dang, 2015, like 9 years and you still ain't get married? Like, that was crazy.
It's a hell of a low blow there.
Yeah, like, you trying to bring problems in my household. Wifey gonna be like, you know what? He's right.
He's right, yeah.
They hired a crisis management team to clean up the fact that you beat on your queen. This was the major allegation that came from this track. Drake did double down on things like Kendrick being extorted by Top, but this is the info that blew people away. First of all, it is true that Kendrick and Whitney had been engaged since 2015, unless they got like secretly married somewhere and no one knows about it. But there is a lot of misinformation around the whole assault allegations. For starters, a website went live called OK Liar, in which they made the claim that Kendrick hit a girl because of this video.
I got told to go up to her room to help some girl get down to the casino because she was scared. She ends up being all bloody and everything. His first name was Kendrick. Lamar? Yeah.
Lamar?
Wait, it was him? What did he do? I mean, he beat up some chick. It was like, there was like, I don't think this stuff go out on TMZ yet, because I think I need to make a phone call.
Many people speculated this was about Whitney, although there was a photo of them rock climbing right after the incident, and she looked perfectly fine. Kendrick also addressed it in a Breakfast Club interview.
Story about you.
Said it's cap.
No way this is true.
Yeah.
When they
disrespectful
said
to even think that.
Beat some guy bloody and you did something to some female.
Dang, beat some guy
and they said they had evidence and all of this, and then I never heard
anything
about
beating up everybody.
Yeah, because
On a rampage.
that's the most ignorant stuff I've ever heard made up.
I was like, Kendrick did that? I doubt it.
And you know, that person whoever made that up owes an apology.
Facts.
Not to me.
Facts.
To women that actually go out there and get abused.
Facts.
You dig what I'm saying? That's
I
a
agree.
real issue. And
There was also someone back when these allegations came out who showed pictures of Kendrick staying somewhere else at the time, not where they claimed he was in the video. Many pointed out that there was no police report filed from this incident, which definitely is important for evidence. Also included on OK Liar was a post apparently from a website called Media Takeout. They said, shortly after Media Takeout published the article, we were reached out to first by people we know who worked at TDE who asked us to delete the article. We were told that the woman was lying and that the incident never happened, which even if it was true, it makes sense if the allegations were false. We also saw Whitney's brother supporting Kendrick.
Yeah, the song is pretty much the same. Before you post that, do some research. See if it's actual, factual.
Yeah, because then you end up in one of them positions.
Instead of digging for dirt, should have been digging for proof.
Digging for proof.
On Twitter, and while this definitely isn't evidence, it could help support Kendrick's argument. But in general, there isn't really any hard evidence that Kendrick did this. That doesn't mean it's impossible, but I also want to make sure throughout this entire video that we're not supporting baseless claims for no reason.
Yeah,
it is also interesting if we refer back to the line on Euphoria where Kendrick said he could predict Drake's angle, which was fabricating stories on the family front. So right after Drake made these huge allegations against Kendrick, Kendrick did one of the craziest things ever, and like 30 minutes after Drake released Family Matters, he released Meet the Grams. This was definitely one of the coolest things I've seen in rap, I gotta say. Just seeing the two biggest rappers go head to head right after each other was awesome. First, I gotta start off by saying the cover for Meet the Grams was a zoomed out picture of the glove from 616 in LA, and allegedly it was sent to Kendrick by a mole on Drake's team. So that teaser was super interesting. Although I will say the cover was later removed for reasons we don't know. But Kendrick made some pretty big claims in this song as well. And pretty early in the song, Kendrick brought up a very serious allegation.
Got sex offenders on OVO that he keep on a monthly allowance. A child should never be compromised, and he keeping his child around him. And we gotta raise our daughters knowing there's predators like him lurking. Fuck a rap battle, he should die so all of these women can live with a purpose. I've been in this industry 12 years, I'ma tell y'all one little secret. There's some weird shit going on, and some of these artists be here to police it. They be streamlining victims all inside of their home and calling them tender. They leak videos, sell themselves to further push their agendas.
Here, Kendrick accuses Drake of being up to some pretty suspicious behaviors, if you get what I'm saying. First off, he mentioned how Baca Not Nice, one of the people on Drake's label OVO, was arrested in 2014 for human trafficking, procuring prostitution, and assault. He was accused of forcing a 22-year-old woman into prostitution. To be fair, the human trafficking and procuring for prostitution charges were dropped, but he served 6 months for the assault charge. Then Kendrick brings up some of Drake's strange behaviors. One that fans often criticized was the fact that Drake became friends with Millie Bobby Brown when she was 13 and he was 31, which is definitely strange, although she did defend him on social media and say he wasn't weird. Regardless, this was always unpleasing to fans. There was also another very weird video where Drake had a girl come up on stage, asked her her age, and she responded with 17. At the time, he was 23 years old. He continued to say a bunch of weird stuff I don't want to repeat, and then kiss her. And while the age of consent in Colorado, where he was, is 17, doesn't make it any less weird. The girl in the video actually spoke out recently saying that Drake's team picked her out and that it wasn't a big deal. So while none of this is evidence that he's a straight up PDF file or whatever I gotta say so YouTube doesn't ban me, it's definitely smoke that could be coming from a fire, or however that saying goes. The third thing that Kendrick alluded to in that verse was industry elites, like Drake possibly, running trafficking rings from their own homes. Again, we don't have any evidence that Drake actually is up to this, but there are a few strange instances. For example, one girl on TikTok has made the claim that Drake has his own private Tinder, where someone from OVO goes around finding girls for him. And while there isn't any hard evidence for this, fans think Drake straight up admitted it on Chicago Freestyle when he said, "All good, Chubbs will look around, find one that seemed my type. That's my dog, and he knows what I like. He done found me plenty in my life." Regardless, it's interesting to think back to the line on tailor-made freestyle I mentioned earlier.
Now you see why Chubbs had a security. You know what I'm saying? You go secure things from me.
You go secure things. You make sure everything's intact.
Right.
The verse after that one, Kendrick made his second huge claim, and it was that Drake is a deadbeat dad to his daughter, and no one even knows if she's real.
Dear baby girl, I'm sorry that your father not active inside your world. He don't commit to much, but it's music, yeah, that's for sure. He a narcissist, misogynist, living inside his songs. Try to destroy families rather than taking care of his own.
He really try to destroy families and taking care of his own. That is like the biggest question throughout all this that I'm still unsure of about this day, like if that's his daughter or not. So half the people saying it's his daughter and half the other people are saying it's not his daughter. It's really which side you standing on.
Yeah, and that's like based on what we have to go off, you know, you just, all you can do is wonder.
Yeah, that's it.
So Kendrick claims that Drake has an 11-year-old daughter somewhere, but like I said, there isn't any evidence for this either. Right after the song dropped, Drake said on his story, "Can someone find my hidden daughter, please, and send her to me?" There were theories of some young girl being Drake's daughter that were shared on Twitter, but I don't really think it's right to be posting some young girl on my videos or sharing those photos of her, so I'm not going to get into it. Basically, Twitter thought they found Drake's daughter, but it ended up being false. Around this time, a theory began floating around Twitter that Drake fed Kendrick fake info about the daughter, but we'll touch more on this later. However, one of Kendrick's friends said on a live stream that the daughter is indeed real.
We trying to see that birthday party pics. Nah, we show you the birthday party pics, bro. It's gonna be like motherfuckers gonna be going after that little girl and bullying her, so we ain't on that, bro. I just need to keep it hip hop or we will get personal.
There was also a tweet in 2012 where Drake said "baby girl," which perfectly lines up with how old she would be. But as you probably have noticed throughout this video, and you're probably a little annoyed about it, as am I, is the fact that we don't have any solid evidence for any of these accusations.
I was
it's pretty much just one group's word against another's. Also on Meet the
Exactly what I was saying.
Sounds good.
Half is believing, half is not believing, and it's just based off of what they're saying. You could tell who side they're standing on.
And when you go into a situation like, I don't know, it's never good.
Never.
Grams, Kendrick doubled down on Drake's racial insecurities when addressing his father Dennis.
Pop was smooth, don't he? Mommy and Pops. Bang, 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 bang.
I think you should ask for more paper.
And more paper. And more paper.
More paper.
But after this track, Kendrick decided to double down and release another one the next day. The next day, Kendrick beat Drake at his own game by releasing a fun, bouncy track produced by DJ Mustard, all while doubling down on the accusations he made against Drake.
Say Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. To any bitch that talk to him and they in love, just make sure you hide your little sister from him. You trolling like a bitch, ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor.
Pretty much this entire song was Kendrick doubling down on everything he claimed about Drake.
You called Future when you didn't see the club. Like, what? Little baby help you get your lingo up. What? 21 get your first street cred. Make you feel like you a slime in your head. Like, what? Quavo said you can be from Northside. What? 2 Chainz say you good, but he lied. You run to Atlanta when you need a few dollars. No, you not a colleague. You a fucking colonizer.
He again echoed the idea that Drake is a culture vulture who basically just steals everyone's sauce. I also think it's important to note the cover of the song, which is Drake's mansion with a bunch of symbols that represent symbols you may see on a sex offender registry. But Drake, of course, had to respond to this. So he did the following day on the Hard Part 6.
Had to respond.
Remember earlier when I said there was a theory that whoever told Kendrick that Drake had a daughter daughter fed him fake information? Well, Drake claimed that was the case as well. He said, "We plotted for a week and then we fed you the information. A daughter that's 11 years old. I bet he takes it. We thought about giving a fake name or a destination.
That was crazy.
But you so thirsty, you not concerned with the investigation." Also, Drake saying that he fed him fake information, if he really did, could tie all the way back to the line on Family Matters when he says, "You better have some paperwork or that shit fake tea." Many people assume this is about the cease and desist because Kendrick brought that up on Euphoria, but if Drake really was playing 4D chess here, that really could be referring to the fake daughter before Kendrick even released Meet the Grams, which would be absolutely insane, but we may never know if it's true. Again, there isn't much to prove this, but I'll get back to this in a minute. Drake also brought up the Whitney and Dave Free stuff, saying, "And why isn't Whitney denying all of the allegations? Why is she following Dave Free and not Mr. Morale?" Drake was addressing everything, even the PDF file accusations, but he addressed it in a way that upset a lot of people. He brought up the fact that Kendrick said he was molested on Mother I Sober, which is why Drake thought Kendrick was obsessed with this angle on his diss songs. In reality though, Drake actually misunderstood the song, as Kendrick explicitly said he wasn't. Drake also said, "I never been with no one underage, but now I understand why this the angle that you really mess with. Just for clarity, I feel disgusted. I'm too respected. If I was fucking young girls, I promise I'd have been arrested. I'm way too famous for this shit you just suggested." A lot of people thought this was a very weak way to address the allegations.
Yeah,
because famous people like
so.
Epstein, for example, are very much so capable of this stuff. Regardless, Drake still denied it. So basically, the last two diss tracks released were the guys doubling down on what they had already said and denying the allegations that they made against one another. Most recently, Drake posted on his Instagram story, "Good times, summer vibes up next." Which many people believe means that he's done with the beef. But there's one more moving piece that is still crucial to this beef. Remember how earlier I said that Kendrick said that someone on OVO was giving him information, and part of that information was...
That's not how it happens. Summer vibes up next.
Up next.
Like, I'm gonna put a pause to all this and focus on the summer. Like,
I'm gonna go on vacation in the Turks.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's crazy.
The picture he used on the Meet the Grams cover, and that Drake claimed that they fed him fake information. Well, a random Twitter page posted a video of all the items that were in the cover, with Meet the Grams playing in the background. The video is supposed to disprove the fact that Drake fed Kendrick information with a fake picture, because the items are still in the hands of whoever posted the video. The account also posted another cryptic tweet with the caption, "May this photo help jog your memory as to where you discarded those items. The issue in the photo should also jog your memory. Jimmy Brooks would not have been proud of you that night." Attached was a picture that showed someone who appears to be Drake in a hotel. The account then tweeted, "You've had many things discarded on your behalf over the years. I wonder if you can remember them all." Some people were saying the items in the video were fake, while others said it was just the lighting. And honestly, it's getting to the point where now I'm a little bit confused. It's getting hard to tell what's real and what's not real, especially when we have information coming from so many sources and that information being debunked days later. But I can say for sure that this drama is far from over. Like I said, pretty much every allegation they made against one another is just one group's word against another's. I'm gonna bust out some legal terms to describe the situation. There isn't any direct evidence of any of these major claims, but there is some circumstantial evidence. So for now, in my opinion, I think it's best to not just automatically believe everything we see and wait for more concrete evidence to come out. I did my best to neatly cover every major allegation in the diss tracks, but this beef is messy and the misinformation online is vast.
Definitely
so if
messy.
I missed something, let me know.
It's definitely a lot of information
online. Regardless, it's super exciting to see the two biggest rappers going at each other like this, but I think it'll be a while before we know if any of these claims are true. I don't think this beef will ever be over, and I'm willing to bet we'll get more information as time passes.
Yeah, me too. It's Trey TV. Let's get it.
It's Lamar Wilson here representing Ghetto Action News Network _ all lower cases.
No spaces.
You'll find us on Facebook, and when you do, follow the page, leave some comments, share something, and come back. I'm gonna get right into this. This was dope. Every allegation from Drake and Kendrick Lamar, that was just in a back and forth competitive battle that turned ugly. This competition reached a level that it was like, man, he's got to pump the brakes on it.
Yeah.
But I thought it was good for rap. You hear a lot of people who have mixed judgment about that, but I think it was, man.
Me too.
Because it was just, rap was really quiet.
Yeah, it's still quiet after it.
Still quiet after it. You know what I'm saying? So it was definitely a nice little surge to everything that's going on. But they definitely hit levels of disrespect here that was just like, whew.
Yeah.
I didn't know you was going to take it there.
Yeah.
But I think this is a lot of fun all in all. What you think?
I think that this was a good documentary that he put together. The way that he took all the rounds and just basically broke down the accusations, and then he didn't really break down the bars. I'm just gonna break down the accusations that y'all was saying about each other. I thought was tough, and I definitely like the way they broke it down. I feel just like he feel. I feel like this is not the end of it. I feel like more information is gonna keep coming out over the next couple of weeks. Can't wait to see what comes out. But until then, it's your boy Trey TV, and I'm out.